Is Cora Waring. I live in Brookline, so just outside of Boston, if you're not familiar with Brookline. I'm a mom. I teach indoor cycling for Equinox, and in my spare time, I'm trying to be a writer and I'm a storyteller. So I feel like I've got my hand in a lot of different things. For me, the most important thing in storytelling is what the point is. Um, and you might not know that immediately when you set out to, you might have a feeling that there's a story that you have to tell and you don't know why you have to tell it. But I think that point is really important because it is going to come in at some point. So I would tell any storytellers out there to just start writing the story. And by the end of it, you will probably figure out what the point is, why you feel like you have to tell it. If you're a new storyteller, I definitely think it's all about the process. Being a writer, I write out my stories. I know a lot of storytellers don't do that, but I do. One, because if your name doesn't get called and you don't get to use your story for some reason, if you have it written somewhere, you can always revisit it and sort of pick up where you left off and not have to sort of remember how you phrased something or the order that you went in. But I think the second great thing is when you're starting off to just sit down at your computer and write the story how you would tell it to a friend of yours. And it just gives you a really good starting point for how long it might be, what you need to keep, what you need to cut. But I would say for new storytellers, like start off that way and just get the whole thing out on paper, and then you have something to build off of. For more intermediate storytellers, once that is more ingrained, I think if you write your story, then there's definitely ways to look into how you can get to certain points of the story quicker. And then with that leftover time, you can add sentences that build more interest. So one of the things I always try to do is say something in a story that I think will be a little like shocking or unexpected to the audience. So for instance, I was in a talent show recently, cut the line because I didn't have time, but I told a story about my daughter, or not my daughter, my sister, going missing when I was young. And, we're looking around, we're trying to find her. And the line that I cut, but that I wanted to keep was, I kept having this feeling that if my sister stayed lost forever, there was a chance that my family could end up on Unsolved Mysteries, which is my like most favorite show of my childhood. And I think that's a kind of when you're telling a story about being worried that your sister is gone or kidnapped, you know, just revealing something like that just like brings the audience a little more into how your brain works, and that makes for a better story.